We must roll the dice. We must. The gods will smite us otherwise. We are 36 episodes into our Dark Sun campaign. There was like this Sorcerer King, and then the characters killed him, and then another Sorcerer King came to invade their city, so the characters drove him away. And then there was a guy who wanted to turn into a kind of magic butterfly, so the characters helped him. And then there was a whole weird adventure where, actually, to be fair, they avoided the plot for like 3 sessions. But then it ended up being about these cabbage people trying to start a war between the city-states. So the characters stopped the cabbage people, and then the guys who made the cabbage people, an order of Sarnacists known as the Order, activated this kind of weird, this kind of telepathic lighthouse thing that fried everyone's brains across the tablelands and made Sarnix impossible. So the characters killed them and have returned home to answer the question of the levy.
Just
1,000
like recaps
souls
for idiots.
1,000 souls a year, the dragon claims, or so it is said, from the 7 cities. Most people don't even know it exists. Our heroes found out about the levy more or less by accident, and now at long last have decided to do something about it. This has led them into some extremely unpleasant discoveries, and the realization that there is more about this situation than they could ever really want to know. There are some questions you shouldn't ask. That never stopped Portek. Even before the party had left Dasarachi's home of the Order of Sarnacists known as the Order, he had summoned his command of the powers of the cosmos to question the dead. Portek, 3 you sought to question: Pharistes, Vemet the Foul, and Thovidarak. Pharistes and Vemet, their minds eluded you, disappearing into the grey. With Thovidarak you snared, and he is now bound from beyond the grave to answer what you put before him.
Well, Portek's feet were firmly sunken into the ground, as you know, and have seen before when he's performing this particular ritual. His hands placed on Thovidarak's chest, his eyes closed. Asks his first question. Is Urdraxa located in the Silt Sea?
Yes. The voice that rises from Thovidarak's corpse is a hiss of barely exhaled breath that settles across his face like a grey shroud.
Why is the levy being paid instead of the dragon being confronted by the combined Sorcerer Kings?
They fear the dragon.
What does the dragon do with the slaves it gets from the levy?
None know. I believe they are taken to Urdraxa, where they serve.
How many questions can I ask? 3, right?
I believe it was 3.
Yeah, so this is the 3. And the next 3 will be for another time if I manage, in a week's time or something.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. It has indeed been a week, and more since Dasarachi's. Back to Tyr you came with your companions, and you are immersed in the business of the day. Your orphanage, your academy, the ranks of you and your companions' troops swelled to over 2,000, while they ran about murdering Verasi Minthur and getting into all sorts of toing and froing in the depths of Undertier. You had far more martial and pressing concerns, but you have known that you must leave this part of your life behind. The demands of sorcery are becoming too great upon you. And yet, should you wish a second casting before we truly get the ball rolling, I am kind and generous. I will grant you it. Here, Thermodaric's saving throw. It is a 3. He fails, and you may summon his spirit from the grey for 3 more questions.
Again, planting his his bare feet firmly on the soil, and they sink into the ground. His connection to the earth firmly established. He plants his hands on the chest of Tobadarak, preserved under other magics so that it would not deteriorate during the transport from the Sirachis. Questions?
No, let me fade.
Questions? Does Hamano have further designs on Tyr?
Always.
Has he given up on conquering it for now?
He fears the spear.
Did Hamano instruct you on how to deal with us, the party?
Yes. To work with you where we were able. To use you where we were not.
Thank you.
And for another week, the poor Templar spirit is back in the grave. Across Tyr, the talk is of the fall of the Menthors, and nothing else. The ascent to the throne of apparently surprisingly legitimized bastard Matthias. There is talk that the letters of legitimization are forgeries. Or worse, coerced from Verassi's fair hand prior to his death. But Verassi was a giant shit, and no one cares. And so it is that Matthias is heralded by all and sundry across Tyr. For the rest of you, this means either lying low or becoming engulfed in several days of all manner of tomfoolery and parties and acclamations and speeches before the council and presentations at the villa and offers of alliance and so on and so forth, and gifts and more gifts.
I have a question. How big is Matthias's military now? Since before that he didn't really have one, did he? Or he had one?
He has a number of followers of his own. Yes, Matthias. Yeah, he does. But to this, he will add about 300 Menthor house guards.
Nice.
Who are probably much happier working for me.
They do actually. So one of our viewers asked us, they didn't know that the spirits of the dead reside in the grave. They don't just reside there; they linger there and then fade away to nothingness. The end. Great stuff. Cheerful. But this will never happen to our heroes, of course. So you have been vouchsafed a variety of information about the truth on the levy. That slaves are being funneled to Tyr through the actual alliance that you helped set up to combat the Cabbage people. The Alan, sorry. Tithian has put in an appearance saying that he's secured a waiver for Tyr until High Sun at least. But then there is word of killing the dragon, of discovering a weapon called the Scourge of Rkard, that your, up until now, absent dwarven companion Portek may have a clue to the whereabouts of. So I suggest then, while Matthias has been fending off the well-wishers, gold diggers, and would-be members of his entourage, that you find yourselves deeper within his townhouse, or perhaps even at the estate or some other location, sequestered away from the crowds, to make a swift and decisive move. Time is not on your side. You cannot afford long and rambling discussions, and your DM will kill you if you do.
Seems legit.
Well, Tick is not taking part in any of the weird festivities. It's just weird and alien to him.
I mean, you're the entertainment.
Come see the giant bug.
Tin will be underground, filling in some of the other pathways and creating just that one good tunnel between the estate and Matthias's new.
Exactly what I was going to suggest is have you down there as your
cool.
your new grove sort of thing.
Ra, Zorak is kind of stamping around in the background, cleaning up dishes of dinner from the night before. Every now and then, kind of pokes his head into the council area where you guys are having your conference. Huffs to himself and goes about his business. So, Portek, have you brought any of your scrolls and learned tomes with you, or are you presenting information from memory?
I've brought some scrolls with me.
Are these things are these your own, or are these things that Herodias got as well?
Yeah, combination of the things. Yeah.
All right. So when you guys join him in the council chamber of the estate, Herodias has Portek has a significant amount of written material, some of which, judging by the seals upon them, look like they've come from the Templars' library.
So we have several things ahead of us that we need to decide on and do, and we don't have much time, do we? Maybe 2 months before the levy is due. Not even, I think.
Almost exactly 2 months.
So we need to find a sword.
Yeah. That's one thing we need to do. Another thing we need to do is bring back Korganard. And we need a lot more information before we take a move on Ordraxa. I have figured out a way to actually quickly get the information from the stone that is guarded by the air elementals. I have since learned how to scry, to foresee with magic. So I can do that and get that information from the stone is what we need. That should point us on how to get to Ordraxa, or at least give us a significant description on what needs to be done to get there. But on more information, well, let me tell you what I have figured out in my own historical documents and in the historical documents that Herodias has managed to retrieve from the Templars' library.
One way or the other, you're leaving, though, again. Zorak standing in the doorway with several pots in his arms. And he turns and heads back to the kitchen.
Stop sulking. You know what you signed up for.
Just one moment. I'll get up and go to the kitchen.
Okay.
Zorak?
Don't you have important discussion?
Yes.
No, I mean with your friends.
Yes. But this is just as important. Are you okay?
You're back for maybe a week or two. Not even 2. Then you go again. How long this time? A month? No, another 6?
I don't know.
And I supposed to wait. I also do not know. And leaving the pots in the sink, he turns and strides out.
Are you... Zorak?
Are you following after him?
If he doesn't stop after I say his name, I will.
Yeah, he does not. Okay, right. So you stride out into the backyard. Of Zorak, there's no immediate sound, but you hear the rather mocking laughter of his brother Zoshak. It overwhelms whatever sound you might pick up of what direction Zorak's going. I wish it would shut up, but it doesn't. Just look, he run! Ah, I like you raw. Zoshak says, you make Zorak weak and stupid. Now Zoshak is strongest brother. You good for Zoshak. Yeah, is that not right? And the youngest brother says, as he is only able, Law.
Which way does he go?
He run away to cry like baby. Come, Claw. We go find more broy. Claw. And the sound of his rumbling laughter and receding footsteps of Zoshak and Claw leave you alone in the silence of the garden. I apologize, Portek. I interrupted your carefully prepared information there with...
No.
I just got broken up with. I'm just going to cry in the garden for a bit. You continue, Portek.
Assassin.
Portek pensively looks after disappearing Ra into the kitchen. Then turns back to the documents. I suppose we'll fill her in when she comes back. So remember that we asked Kirodias to figure some information out on the Cardani, on Clan Rock, and on Urdraxa. And she came back with only 3 mentions. Mm-hmm. So to start with, one of those mentions was that about 400 years ago, Kalak discovered somebody called Nerad and sent words to Urdraxa, and that ended with Nerad's death. So Kirodias has figured out that Nerad was an Avengian as well.
Interesting.
And the dragon, well, for better or for worse, ended it. No body was found. Kalak found out. Apparently Nerad came to Tyr and announced himself, him or herself, I don't know whether it's as a man or a woman, to the Veiled Alliance. Kalak got wind of it and ratted Nerad's presence out to the dragon, and the dragon came and got him. So that's actually an interesting point for us to know. There have been Avengians before, so there might be also Avengians after. So that's one thing that we figured out. Other things that we need to address. The timelines are just crazy. Each king's age is 77 years, and it means that we actually, if we look at all the evidence from the library here, that we live in the 190th king's age. So
the rest of you, by the way, this sounds preposterous. Okay, everybody knows there have been, a dozen, 20 tops king's ages. The idea of there being 190, I mean, come on, it just sounds mad.
but it is the case. So we've, following the conversation that was had under the Minthor state and the conclusions drawn from that, particularly the one where it is clear that the Sorcerer Kings want the dragon to stay in place because they fear what would happen if the dragon was not in place. So we tried to find more information on that. And what Kirodias found was not necessarily information on that directly, because it's been removed from the library. It's been carefully stricken out, redacted, whole parts have been removed, pages ripped out that are relevant to the information. But what we did find out, because we could pinpoint which areas all that information was removed, is that in the period around 163rd and 164th King's Ages, something happened which is related to the thing that the sorcerer monarchs are fearing more than having the dragon in place. It's in that period that we need to be looking, at that time period. Something else which is very important to note is that before that, those two King's Ages, there's no mention of Kemalok in Tyr. And after those King's Ages, he's the only monarch in Tyr. So something happened in that time that brought Kemalok to power, by the looks of it. And I think those are the most important things. There was more information. I can give you some more information on that there was a big disaster which took place in the 161st King's Age. So that's before this two King's Ages where we need to be searching into. And it was a disaster with obsidian for some reason. It's to the south of the Tablelands. And after that disaster, there was a whole list of cities that Tyr was no longer able to trade with. What are those cities' names? Mark, do you know?
The Portek rattles off a list of cities, none of which you've ever heard of. Nagarvos and Ulan and blah blah blah. You don't know what the hell they are.
Okay. And prior to that disaster, there were massive migrations, people fleeing, refugees all over the Tablelands. And then, of course, there's another element which is important. We've tried to figure out what the butcher is, which comes forth in the dwarven tales. Rkard slayed the butcher, but in doing so actually died himself as well. And the butcher's scourge, the weapon that we're looking for, according to the dwarves, is embedded in Rkard's body, where he was buried, and he's buried in the places that is being excavated by the dwarves of Kled at the moment.
Kemalok.
Kemalok, yeah. So that's why we need to look for the scourge.
And what exactly does this scourge do? It's
probably a weapon with similar powers to the spear.
The spear, yeah.
I would expect. I don't know anything else from it. I would have to figure it out once we get our hands on it, to figure out what's going on with that thing. There's some other things which we don't have enough information on what's going on here, but I do have a feeling that we could get a lot more information to where the likely places where all that information was moved to from the Templar library. And that is the library of the king of Kemalok in his golden tower.
But how do we get to that?
Well, illegally, of course, because we're not allowed to be there. So that's also a thing that we could set up and start doing. So you see, we've got a lot of things that we want to do. We want to go to Cled. We want to go to Desferendi's Valley to bring back Korganart. And we have this thing that we need to figure out more information on why things are happening. And if you have any illusions that the Sorcerer Kings are going to help us in defeating the dragon, then you did not properly listen to the conversation that was had under the Minthor estate, because they will not.
I don't believe that they would anyway.
They will actually actively stop us from trying this, so we can expect trouble incoming.
But why would they want to stop this?
Because
It could be a source of their power.
Not just that, not just the source of their power. I think, well, yeah.
The dragon doing something that's
exactly the conclusion that was drawn from that conversation, and Herodias used supernatural method to actually draw these conclusions, is that they are actually afraid what would be there if the dragon wasn't there. The dragon
is keeping something else at bay,
or a situation at bay, or something. But we don't know what it is.
So, let's say in the most optimistic scenario,
yes,
that the dragon is keeping this world alive by doing something with those sacrifices. That's why the kings don't want to interfere.
Mm.
That's giving him.
That's a positive.
That is the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just realized I'm not doing Tic-Tic scores.
Tic-Tic has a cold as well.
Tic-Tic has a cold. He becomes very eloquent, weirdly, when he's...
We deserve medals for just turning up today. Never mind.
I was just like, wait a minute.
Double XP?
I'm playing a big bug. I should sound more like a bug.
But not like you have a bug.
That's it for Dark Sun. We're all leaving.
Yeah, that's with that dad joke. I'm no. But yeah, no. So in this optimistic scenario, the dragon is a force for good.
Okay, let me tell you the one thing which makes me doubt that, and that is we encountered Kreen.
Yes.
In the Serachis,
yes.
And they told us of massive cities, green cities, bigger than the Tablelands, where they come from.
Yeah.
And they are not paying a levy.
No.
So it's only the Sorcerer Kings who are paying a levy. So they're the only ones that stand to gain, is my conclusion from that.
Right.
Right? That makes sense, right?
Unless the Kreen didn't share this information with us.
No, but then the dragon would be going shopping with them, right? For souls.
I guess.
I come back into the meeting room with a wet bandage around my eyes, and I stumble in. Whatever you guys decide to do, I'm going to be staying here for a little bit. I have some things that I need to do. So any plans of preparation that you need to do, you can do without me just this once.
Okay.
Good luck. Whatever it is.
What did you say, Portek? Sorry?
Are you okay, Ra?
Yeah. I've been so focused on other people's lives that I've neglected my own and Zorak's.
I see.
If we're gonna save the world, I want there to be a life that I can live after it. And I'm afraid if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna lose that.
let me know if you need any help. Yes.
Thank you. And I give the room a smile, and then I turn and I leave to try and track down Zorak.
If you're ready to join us again, you can always leave a message at my estate, and they will know where to place it or else. Yeah? Even if we are far.
Thank you.
Hope it goes well. Good luck with you and Zorak.
Okay. And Ra takes her leave.
Tik will look confused to Portek. Is this a mating thing?
Yes. Yeah, it's a mating thing.
Oh.
Shall I send a
So-
bard to Zorak?
Sorry?
Shall I send a bard to Zorak?
I think killing her mate would be bad.
It was a joke,
He
Tik.
was making a joke.
Oh,
So,
I'm not
as
sure.
Portek
I'm
says,
not entirely sure that was a joke, but yeah.
I ever since I've been to the forest, my sinuses have been a nightmare.
And this is where your sense of humor is located, right?
Yes, right there.
in the spiracles.
Yes.
So, as Portek has said, you have a number of options before you. Pick one.
This is a tough decision.
The
but
thing
I think
is,
Kemalok
the
seems like
library.
the logical place to go.
yeah, I agree. That's where I think we should go. The King's Library. Can Tithian even get in there? He's, mind you, he's a Templar. Or was a Templar.
As far as I've understood, it is off limits to everybody.
Including
On
Tithian.
Tithian's orders.
Tithian wants access to Korganard.
Why does Tithian want access to Korg?
What is
Who
that about?
knows? Who knows what his intentions are, but I don't think they're pure.
They probably are not.
Tithian
Yeah.
is a word.
I mean, I think we can bet with
Yes.
absolute certainty that his intentions aren't pure.
No. But I'm trying to think of how we would get in there. Tithian's been gone for, what, nearly a year and suddenly appears in the Minthar's basement.
Over a
striking
year.
deals over a year. And striking deals with the Defiler.
There's
other
something
sorcerers.
else which Herodias mentioned. It seems, it's her impression, that Tithian, apparently he came in for a talk with her. It seems that he is being advised by others, also pertaining the whole thing here and this whole.
Of course he is. He's
But
probably being controlled by other. He probably wants to become a Sorcerer King himself. So
well, I suppose
how one
the-
would do that, I don't know.
the layout and the equipment is still lying here from Kemalok trying to do so. So it's a good place to start, I'm sure, being the leader of Tyr. But I don't know. But that's something that we should keep in mind. Who is whispering in his ear?
Well, for one, it's those people in that room.
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
sure?
it is. I don't think it's anyone in that room.
According to Herodias, it wasn't. And he was also separate from the people in that room. The people in that room were the Nibbanean Templar, who was there at the behest of what's his name, the Arcanamak,
Malpain.
Dood Malpain. And the Mintors were there because it was through Dood Malpain controlling the Mintors, and the slave was shipped through there.
Yeah.
And the High Templar, what's his name?
Timor, senior Templar Timor. Yeah.
He was there also as part of that deal. But Tithian was there really separately, as an interested party, but not as. So if he gets advice from somebody else outside of that room.
Well, hear me out. Do we know where he is right now?
I have no idea. I have no eyes on him.
I mean, if we could get him, we could have a pretty conscientious and professional conversation where we put the screws to him until we find out everything he knows.
It's not the kind of.
Lana's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's not the kind of person you can just imprison and torture your way through. Eh?
Oh, everybody says that until the pain starts.
Are we still talking about Tithian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's isn't he a master of the way? Probably has all kinds of.
We're gonna teach him a different way.
Do we know anything about? Do we anything
or something?
Do we know anything about him?
Tithian, no. I mean, he about his family. He's from the Mericles family. They hated the fact that he became a Templar. He grew up with Agis. Their farms bordered each other. He had a sister. She died. It's a kind of weird bit of family something or other when they were young. He's known to have had some psionic talent. But the ability to vanish, to teleport, or dimension walk, or whatever that is, you know yourself, that requires psionic mastery.
But he did that, right? Out of that meeting?
Yes, he did.
So he's a psionic master.
He's leveled up.
Yeah. Those are high-level powers. Well, so there's your answer. Good luck torturing somebody like that.
It was an option. If we're going to look at every avenue, might as well not.
No, fair enough.
Look, so there's darker avenues than others. I'm just shedding enough light so you can see the doorway.
Look, the way you want to, if you really want to deal with something like that, you need to kill that person and you can question his corpse, or you kill that person and you deplete him, and you raise him and you keep him depleted of his psionic powers with a bucket over his head, that kind of stuff. We're talking about Vemet shit that you have to pull. Are you ready to do something like that? No, clear. Well, anyway.
So you're saying sneak up on him and put a bucket over his head, is what you're really saying.
That's assuming you can even find where Tithian is.
Exactly, yeah.
And what is it that we're trying to get out of him? Who his outside contact is?
I'm not necessarily
manipulating him. I think someone's manipulating him.
Could it be a sorcerer king from a different city?
Could he have resurrected
Templar
Kemalok?
Could he have shifted allegiances to another sorcerer king to get Templar powers back?
Matthias, you have somebody actually listening in on your conversation, sneaking behind you.
No, I can see him.
Is that Tithian?
I don't know. I'm not in favor of trying to tackle Tithian in person, to be honest. I think that will open a can of worms that we can't oversee, and it might jeopardize everything else that we're trying to achieve. But that is my opinion.
No, I agree. But I do think he's linked deeply somewhere.
Yes, there's something going on there which I would love to know. But I think we might find a lot more out if we go actually into the Golden Tower and sneak our way in and find out some more information there.
Well, look, there are always stories about secret ways in and out of the Golden Tower. Matthias, you would be best placed to find out some specifics on those. If that's something you want. If it's Kemalok and Kled, obviously Portek is your chief point of contact there, And when it comes to Desverandy's Valley, obviously you have a very, very high level druid with you. So
if we want to get information from
any of the avenues that you guys have looked at, it's a trivial matter just to head down one.
So
if you guys need information from inside, why don't I just call a swarm of insects to go inside, hear what they can hear, and then relay it back to me?
The thing is, if he's in there alone, you're not going to hear nothing.
If I sneak in there alone without the ability to throw a bucket over his head and torture him, I'm not going to hear anything either.
I know. But
so
the idea is that we go in there and read.
So why don't we put this back on the table after we've done the other three things?
All right,
we can talk about whether we want to talk a little bit closer with Titty, and then we have done.
I'll put some feelers out for us to try and get in there. So how to get in there, any secret back doors
into the Golden Tower.
Yeah, I'll put my feelers out there, my people, and then we'll go and do the Kemalok thing.
And I have another thing that we might want to think over. We have only a little bit, around 2 months, to get everything sorted. Everything. Why don't we do these things simultaneously? I go to Kemalok, talk to the dwarves, and get that sword, if it's there. Tin goes to Desverandy's Valley with the femur and the hearts, and tries to bring back Desverandy and.
Are you suggesting that we split the party? That's a very bad idea. We never split the party. No, just kidding.
And Matthias proceeds to set up a group to actually infiltrate the tower.
But all of those various avenues that you're discussing have the potential of being dangerous for a group of us, never mind one person doing it on their own.
Yeah, but all three things, I think the rest of us are not going to be very useful with. Portek might be useful helping Tin with Desverandy,
right?
But the others really okay, you're standing with and you're looking at it.
Yeah.
The same goes for the buried treasures for in Kemalok, because you don't have access to it. The Earth Cleric probably has the easiest way of going in, and the fact that he's a dwarf and can talk to the dwarves might be a good one. And then getting in the Golden Tower, half of us don't have the stealth capabilities to get in there and stay unnoticed there, and that's what we want to try and do.
Well, I could do that easily. I could stay in there as long as you need.
Okay.
I could turn into a small spider or something and just sit on the ceiling.
Okay. Well,
but
I'm just bringing it up. We have to decide as a group on this. So,
well, despite all this, I would really prefer if more people came with me to Desverandy's Valley, because the problem I'm going to have is that depending on what they're able to do, or if they need my combined might to bring back Rkard, you remember that after resurrections, things of that nature, if I have to take part, I'm laid up for a while and I'll need somebody to watch my back.
Mm-hmm. So who are you going to take with you?
I don't think we should split. I think I will send out some contacts to try and find an easy way into the Golden Tower, into their libraries.
So we're going to do these things consecutively, basically.
While that is in process, we'll go and do the Kemalok. Because the chances are the dwarves haven't found the sword. And we haven't been back to the dwarves in over a year. So who even knows if they're thriving? Or if they're still happy?
Surely if this sword is something that, or whatever this weapon is something that people know about, at least those who matter.
And on top of that, you've just told us
to find us
that the Sorcerer Kings will be out to stop us. So splitting us apart is not going to be a good idea.
Which is also why I want to deal with the Rkard issue sooner than later, because right now, if they're marshaling any of their forces to come against us, I'd rather them come against us as I'm regaining my powers than when I'm completely almost depowered and I'm just really useful with a bow and can talk to a plant and an animal.
Arnott, to touch on a question you mentioned about the Scourge of Rkard being well known and people would have contacted you, it's not well known.
Okay.
Dope Malpain is the only person you've ever heard mention it.
Gotcha.
And Dope Malpain doesn't know everything about it.
Right.
The fact that he thinks it's lost. It's only because Portak has access to ancient dwarven stuff that he happens to know that it's actually buried in Kemalok.
Right.
But the dwarves who buried it don't know what Malpain knows about it either. Only you guys have the larger picture.
The larger picture, yeah.
Dope Malpain said it was a myth.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
words? The problem is, again, we're going to Korganard. That we don't know what the percentage chance of him coming back. So if we try and it's a failure, we've gone all that way for a failed attempt. Obviously, we're going to have to go out that way anyway. So the question is, do we go there first, attempt that, and then travel to Kemalok? How far is the place between there and Kemalok? I know it could take us moments, but obviously you're going to need a week to rest.
Yeah, but we can. Oh, I can fly. I mean, there's only the few of us.
Just to the north of Tyr.
Desverandes Valley is 35 miles north of Tyr.
Which we could get there within an hour.
Cled is...
To be fair, we can get anywhere pretty sharpish now.
Yeah, Cled is 50 miles down the road and then another 25 miles north into the desert.
But presumably we could take air.
The thing is,
well, no.
If Tin is in a position to
actually,
do it.
that's actually a good question for the DM. It says that when I'm recovering, I can't use my magic or be in battle. Am I still able to shape form?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I could still. Then I would let you guys know. Like, yeah, once if I have to try to do this, I'll still be able to fly you or take you wherever you need to go. I just won't be able to marshal the energies of Athos through me into anything. So I'll be without magic, but I'll have my other utilities for what they're worth.
So let's have a decision then. If the Golden Tower is being bumped down the list, Kemalok first or Desverandes Valley first?
Valley first, so I have more time to. So we know how many allies we have before going after the sword.
The thing is, if we go into Kemalok Valley and it ends up being a dungeon, then we're going to need you. If they haven't got the sword, we need to go and get the sword.
Because also, don't forget, if you're successful with your resurrection, you're going to have an Evangelion there.
Yeah.
And that's going to draw attention somehow, I think. I don't know.
I'll send up feelers. We'll go to Kemalok first, and then we'll go to do the resurrection.
Okay.
So I will send out my contacts to go and find out and pay off whoever I need to pay off.
All right. So if at your level, we're looking at 2033 plus, what's that, 9 there? It sets you back 42 silver pieces, which is a fair bit of money to lay out for the passage of information.
I'm a lord and I've got unlimited funds.
But exactly, the Dracomen and the bards to whom you slip silver and coin confirm they will have word back to you within a week, they estimate.
Okay.
Now, 35 miles north to Desverandes Valley on foot will take you days and days and days. Presumably you wish to take another route.
Yeah, I believe on the route.
Yeah.
The rock route.
Yeah, I'm the let me check what's faster. If you guys get on me as a rock, or if let me double check. If you get on me as a rock, or as if you get on me as a worm.
But I thought we were going to Kemalok first.
We are.
We're going to Kemalok first.
We're going to Kemalok first, but I'm looking at which one's going to be faster.
Okay. Would a rock be faster than a worm?
Burrowing. I mean,
a
really,
rock will absolutely be faster.
Yeah, the rock is faster. So,
but then we will be seen going there.
That is also true.
Can you make us not visible?
I can make us not visible. Yeah, I suppose to an extent. Does the 10-foot radius actually cover the rock? Mark?
No.
No, no, no.
But it would hide us on the back of the rock, so it would just look like a rock flying around.
Yeah, but it would also tell people to look more closely, and people who look more closely will find us. Why don't we get out of the city?
A rock is not an unusual sight. The fact that there's a rock flying around in the sky is not necessarily going to draw the attention of all and sundry.
Okay.
You're being overly paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's in the nature.
Yeah.
So
One
we
of
do
you
that
could
and then we
easily-
get shot down. Mark's like, "Oh, you die."
yeah. We could go a little bit
Should have
outside
been more
of.
paranoid.
We could go a little bit outside of town. One of you can fashion a very rudimentary harness of some kind, and I can hold the other two in my my talons.
Good. And then I cast an invisibility spell on us, and then that's it. And I
Okay.
suppose in the harness.
All right.
But wouldn't we?
So
all
we'll
have to be made
should we
of-
assume that you provision yourself with, say, a few days worth of rations?
Yeah,
Mhm.
You don't
makes
expect
sense.
him to be out for long, just the basics. Make sure your gear, your components are in good order.
They are.
Leave word should Ra and Bagal put in an appearance again.
When flying,
And
I give my people at the state the instructions what to do with the message, where to put the signal for me to look and see whether she needs.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I have another question. How long have we been here now? Have I been able to already study some of my spells?
Oh, well, this is just the next day, I think, from after the last session.
Okay. But the other ones before, the 5th level ones, remember?
10 days.
10 days. Okay.
Yeah.
So
The flash,
I'll strike 2 5th level spells in my book, right?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
The flight across the desert is rapid and peaceful. The afternoon sun, a bruising crimson orb that hangs sultry in the western sky. You have your backs to it fairly soon. Your shadow flits long over the rippling dunes below until the muddy waters and Yipo trees of Cled Oasis with its little stone arch bridge come into view. And a mile or two north of that, on the flats where the Badlands meet the dunes, the little concentric circles of round houses of Cled itself. I presume then you make a landfall a short while away and make the last half mile or so on foot. You are figures of renown, and it doesn't take long for word to spread throughout Cled village that Portek, Constantine, Tiktik, and Matthias have come. And fairly soon a gaggle of dwarven children, a few admiring dwarven adults, the half-dozen members of its rudimentary town guard, several of which have been training at your academy, Portek, and salute you as a recognized leader. And you're basically mobbed to a halt in the street, barely before you can even reach Cled's town square. I'm a celebrity now, is it? Caelim's voice rings over the crowd. The fire priest, a long-standing rivalry between him and Portek.
Apparently.
Glad of you to grace us with your presence, my lords. Come. Lianius is in his offices. I suppose you're wanting a meeting. This won't just be a social call.
Love a bit of social.
I will pray for you, Matthias, Kemalok says, and pats you on the shoulder, but not very hard. Lianius, the only surviving of the two brothers who founded Cled and the excavation of Kemalok. You can see ill humor flit across his face as you join him up in his offices. Circular stone room overlooking the square. Been here more than once before. But he masters his emotions and forces a smile that is polite, if not sincere. Welcome back. However long you have been away, Portek.
It's been busy.
You have indeed. The tablelands are in your debt. We count ourselves blessed. 'Twas declared you came first. And declared you now return. What can we do for you, great lords of Tyr?
We need another sword.
The good humor vanishes from his face entirely. What do you mean another? You were given the sword of Kemalok.
And we love it, and it is cherished dearly.
Where is it?
I have it here.
Did
Yeah,
They go back and give
gave
you
it to
gave-
me.
you guys, okay.
She returned it to Dwarven hands where it should be.
Well, good. He was a worthy bearer, Bengal.
Absolutely.
Another sword, then. This is a human humor.
It is.
He-
Sit down. I have a story to share with you.
Lianis, his bones creaking, settles himself. Tell on.
This shouldn't go beyond the walls of this room, lest panic break out in the peoples.
Only stone listens here.
Like that, as you well know.
Mark, before the story begins, Tin, about to hear the story, just starts walking towards all the kids that were kind of playing, and will.
So you go back outside, yeah?
I'm going back outside, but I'm gonna make myself a dwarf and then just play with them as a dwarf.
Okay. It fools some of them for a while, actually.
Oh no, I'll do it in front of them to be like, hey, he'll be like, he'll be like, could I play? And if they invite him, then he'll turn into a little, maybe more of a full-size dwarf and start playing with the kids.
The beginning of your story is ruined by high-pitched dwarven squealing from outside, the excitement of the dwarven children at Constantine's display. Lianius coughs and waits for the noise to subside. My apologies, please continue.
They are our future. There's nothing to apologize for. With Kemalok falling away, certain things that were forever hidden in Tyr came unhidden. And we have found out that the way that the Sorcerer Kings have been keeping the dragon at bay has been by giving the dragon its due every year.
You mean livestock and booty?
In slaves.
What?
Yes. 500 slaves every year.
1,000 slaves every year.
What?
Each
But dwarves-
of the cities.
Dwarves have been taken from Kled to be slaves in Tyr.
Yes. Each city-state, each sorcerer king does their contribution. They call it the levy.
What does the dragon want with these? It builds an empire. It builds an empire beyond the Sea of Silt.
We don't exactly know. But we think it's a bit more than that. I think maybe part of them he uses to build his empire, but another part he uses to fuel his powers.
His defiling magics.
Probably.
I had heard that the greatest defilers can draw on the life energies of the living.
This was what Kemalok was probably trying to do when he died. That was his defining moment when he was busy with that. Now, to come closer to the matter upon why we are here, the next levy for Tyr is scheduled for high sun.
The season? But the season of high sun, it begins today.
It's going to be the zenith in 2 months. If the city of Tyr does not pay, the dragon will come and it will eat it. All of it.
And Kled?
It's close by. Maybe, maybe not.
How does your story end up with a sword?
There are certain weapons which are part of legends that they can damage sorcerer kings and in extension the dragon. They are related, you see.
The spear.
We have the spear.
But we need the scourge, because the scourge too.
The Scourge of Rkard.
Yes.
He will never let you have it.
Who will never let us have it?
Rkard.
You have found him.
Yes. We have
Still.
found the Great Hall. He lingers there still with his knights.
Undead.
Banshees.
Right.
We excavated the outer courtyards. It took many months, many years. The Great Hall was beyond. It was... We never understood why. He was talked of being enthroned, not entombed. A metaphor, we thought.
It wasn't.
No. You're right there, dwarf. We can show you the way. Generations of dwarves have made it open for you. But death awaits you beyond those doors.
Yet we must try.
Why?
Do we have any idea on how many banshees are there? And do we have any information on him? What keeps him there? What drives him?
Something is unfulfilled.
Right.
We do not know. And his knights serve him. His failure dooms them to undeath.
Right. Okay.
Is this the only way?
If we are to stand a chance on facing the dragon, then this must be part of it, yes. As you can imagine, I'm not looking forward to having to face that monstrosity.
Why
But
does this creature not let us have the sword?
Something is dwarves, when they have they're how to explain this, they have a goal in life, and that is so important to them that if they fail and die on the way to that goal, They become what you see me become.
Yes. A banshee.
Yes.
Now
So-
his goal. Now it holds him to undeath.
Do we know what his goal was?
We do not know what he swore as his focus. It is a deeply personal matter. No dwarf would ever ask another dwarf. But by our deeds, it is known.
And his deeds were? What do we know of his deeds?
His last act was to slay the butcher
Right. And he succeeded in that.
and to defend Kemalok.
A dwarf
Perhaps
would
the
never
matter
ask
failed.
another dwarf this, but perhaps a Kreen could ask.
If the tales I have heard of you and your companions are true, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. With my blessings, I will take you to the Great Hall of Kemalok, and you may look upon Rkard yourself.
Perhaps
I would like to stress that this conversation we had and the information that we divulged needs to stay within this room. If this comes out and gets known to the general public, a panic would ensue that we cannot put back in the box. It would disintegrate society.
Here only stone speaks.
Have you ever managed to speak to this creature?
I tried, but fear took me. And I wept and I ran. I have never felt fear like that.
Is it an unnatural fear brought about by their state?
I do not know where it came from. It was like a cloak that stole over me. All I could see was the doors and ran for them.
But you tried to talk to him, and he didn't instantly attack.
He opened his mouth. Words came out, but I could not tell you what they were. I was... In my shame, I was screaming.
It's fine. Undead can do
I,
that to a man.
I have a question for you. Was the sword still stuck in his body?
No. He bore it in his hands.
Okay. Yes. Are we ready for this? I look around.
We haven't got a choice.
No. Me gather my thoughts. I need to see which spells I need to bring.
Lania stands. Please use my offices. I will see you at the dig site when you are ready. And with a nod to the other three of you, the aged Onomus of Kled
I'm outside.
leaves you and heads to where you must soon follow, to the ruins of Kemalok itself, which we will return to after the break. You're not really aware of her standing watching you, Constantine. And I want to share that for our viewers. It's a stunning piece of artwork by Tom Baxter, who was on the Bone Stone and Obsidian podcasts last week. But you recognize the woman as soon as you see her. Her figure has the leanness of an elf, the broad shoulders of a dwarf.
Her hair flames long and tangled like a halfling's. Alara Kas Alar, you recall the name as being. You encountered her when heading to Desrendi's Valley with Gorgonard, and then yet again heading over the Ringing Mountains. You realize none of the children are moving. They're all kind of frozen, as if caught in amber or in treacle in the act of catching a ball, stumbling backwards to try and catch it.
I'll go over and try to kind of shake some of the kids. More concerned about them than her at the moment.
She waits patiently for you to discover that they're no more movable than the stone of a mountain.
I'll turn towards her. What have you done to them?
I don't want them to hear what we're talking about. I don't need them to hear what I'm going to say to you. Do not enter that tomb. Taking up that sword will lead you down one path and one path only. And that way lies ruin.
How?
There are questions you should not ask.
Now, if you came to me, you knew I would ask those questions.
I came to you because I knew you would ask those questions. And you would understand why I cannot tell you. Once you know, someone else can know. A third, a fourth.
So, I guess to me the most important question is, you said it'll lead to ruin. Is that ruin for us or all? If it's for us and all benefit, then I'll gladly take the blade. If it's for all, then I'll have to consider.
Sadly, it is neither. It is something worse. As the tension moves across the land, my time here is short.
Whose attention?
Enter that tomb and you will find out. And then there's the sound of a ball bouncing on the ground next to you, the laughter of children. There's no sign of the woman. Are you able to get to share the Roll20 screen on Twitch, Dwarf?
Always.
That shows her? Just so the viewers can see what she looks like.
I will turn
There you go.
towards.
Cool.
Yeah,
Check out those abs, though.
yeah, those abs are insane. So I will turn towards the kids and be like, sorry, our games have to end for the day, but I'll try to come back soon. And I will start shifting back into my proper form and stride into where I know my companions to be.
Kemalok rises in majesty out of the desert. Its outer ramparts have been fully excavated and revealed. Here still the dunes claim or attempt to reclaim the lost city. But a way has been laid open, great doors into the inner courtyard now revealed. Lianius stands on the sandy slope waiting for you to join him. Look, there he is in the picture. He raises a hand as you approach. The doors to the inner courtyard stand open. Once within, the road leads through the outer bastion to the Great Hall itself. Rkard waits for you beyond.
We may not want to go in there, guys.
Why?
Well, I just had a visit.
From
Alara. And I will describe her to you. Basically, it's abs with a woman's face. That's somewhere above.
Isn't she the... God, what's that race called? Pyrene? Pyrene?
I don't know whether the name's been dropped yet, but yes, she is. I don't have any objection to it being out and about there. Not that it has any
I wasn't sure if that was a thing that we knew. But
I
think...
don't know either, but what the fuck? You know, we've been playing for 35 sessions. Yeah, she's a Pyrene.
Yeah, so, and I will share that information.
What's the Pyrene?
The like weird, legendary, magical super creatures.
Okay.
Like a fairy mixed with a power ranger and a robot. I don't know. They're kind of
and a robot.
mythical Atlas creatures.
Listen, they're everything. They're everything and they're nothing.
It got weird there.
So do we know about this? Because I know that Portek never met this lady because he was dead at that point.
Yeah, Portek. But you bumped into her once more on the way over the Forest Ridge, I believe. So he may have met her, but if you have no memory of her, then you almost certainly weren't there. So,
yeah. But I've described her as abs that are, and there's a lady's body somewhere around those abs, and there's a head on top of it.
So this Pyrene thing is this now a point of knowledge?
It's like in the real world. If you kind of go, I think she was a leprechaun, and people will go, oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
So I will say, yeah, she's a pirate.
Abominable Yeti. Okay.
Yeah. So she stopped time or spoke into my mind, whatever have you, in the courtyard. And her time was short. She said her eyes were everywhere and would fall on her. That if we go into the tomb, we'll know whose eyes. She mentioned that the sword will lead to ruin. I asked if our ruin or Athos, and she said worse. She wouldn't give many answers and was very cryptic because anything that I know, someone else could know, and she didn't seem too keen on others being able to pierce my mind.
But shouldn't she be immediately aware that would lead you to asking all sorts of other questions?
Yes, she actually mentioned that. I told her that. She said there's answers to questions you shouldn't ask. And I said, well, you knew I would ask. And she said, yes, I know.
These are the manipulations of an enemy, Leanius says. Someone seeks to protect the dragon from the scourge.
Perhaps.
I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm not saying we do it. I'm just giving you the...
Is it possible that the reason why the dwarf is a banshee and the knights are banshees as well are because the scourge was reputedly designed to kill the dragon, but was in fact not what it purported to be, and in this failure to kill the dragon caused the dwarf to become a banshee because the sword was a lie.
But Rkard was dead before the dragon ever was known to appear. The tales of the dragon come from after the Great Wars, surely.
No, that doesn't make sense, the timeline.
Oh. Rkard and the Butcher both died at theirs was the last battle of the last war.
Yeah.
So we
do we know more of the Butcher in Cled?
The Butcher was the great enemy of the dwarves, a general who marshaled armies and drove them against us, breaking down our bastions, smashing open our cities and scattering us like an anthill that's been thrust into by a red-hot poker, and the dwarves scattered.
Is there any
last stand here? And we discovered later some survived in Lidopolis also. But in all of the places but these two, we were destroyed by the armies of the Butcher. Sorry, Tick, you were saying.
What was the Butcher's species?
These were the armies of mankind.
Humans.
So he was a human too.
Yes.
He stands,
Well-
kind of steps back.
I know nothing of Pyrene. But the Scourge is there. If any can take it, you can. Any can save us from this beast and its levy, you can. You were the first we saved. It is the will of the elements that you come to us now again at the end.
Let us have a moment alone, perhaps. We need to confer. I feel this new information requires more thought.
Stone watch over you.
Leonius says, and turns and trudges slowly away through the sand.
I look at Portek.
She has not betrayed us so far, so why? She has been nothing but a friend to Korganard, has she not?
She was.
I'm trying to remember as a player what the context of our encounter was. I remember it was.
You met
friendly,
her
but-
when you were bringing Korganard to Desrenda's Valley. As I recall, she stopped. I think she healed some of you.
Okay.
I'd have
She
to
did.
go back and watch that episode again.
She did.
And just said you're doing a great thing. Carry on. Tea and biscuits at the end.
There was no biscuits. That's a lie.
But then once she come to us again, didn't she? So
She has
What was
not
that?
lied to us before, but
Shh.
we do not know her motivations.
No, she cautioned against going into the tomb. If we want to go into the ruins, I see no problem with going into the general ruins and looking about and seeing if we can find information. As long
Look, this
as-
is what I object with all these things. They tell us not to do something, but they don't. They refuse. They flat out refuse to tell us why,
Yes.
and that is really upsetting to me. So I want to know why, and then I can make my own decision.
That's why I said we get information, go into the ruins, look for information, look for clues, come up with our own idea of if we should enter or not, just making sure that the warning is known by all.
Well, why would she just not come to us as a group like she has in the past?
And why doesn't she just plain out tell us why?
Yes.
Because she knows that we're not going to give up until we know why we should give up. I mean, we have to have a compelling reason to give up.
I understand that, and I'm sure she, the DM, knows that as well.
I find her
I find her, the DM, very uncaring in that respect.
I have a list of the things that my various NPCs know, okay, and the shit they're willing to share with you. It's a
We didn't
very,
ask for
very
shit, we asked for words.
laboriously constructed system here. Don't fuck with my system.
So
So we go, we do this, and then we'll see what the consequences are. This is what I think.
oh wow. Okay. I would like to point out, with all the information that we have available, that I am not the reckless one this time.
You see, Portek is very upset.
Enough of this bullshit.
It's not me this time. Let's go.
But before
Beyond
we
the
go-
great door. Oh, yes, please go ahead on out.
this sigh on his face.
Come on, Arnold, say it.
All right, never mind. Everybody just file in and let's walk to our deaths. It's all good.
I'm just loving the DM of just being like, "Will you guys shut the fuck up and let me go?"
Yeah, let's just go in. Let's go in. Let's try on the shit out
No,
of
see,
this.
now we're in a position where we need to know what you said, what you wanted to say. It could be
Beyond the
important.
doors, the courtyard that was described is more like a canyon. An immense space quarried out of the rock. Galleries and stairwells and fortresses and embattlements look down upon you from all sides. Here, where the excavation has cleared open the great galleries, sunlight streams in at a low angle, filling the dust with golden fire. Every footstep adds more to its freight. And ahead of you, a single enormous dark portal awaits. The great hall that Leonius has spoken of. And beyond which Rkard. That's you, shown in the picture, walking there. That's how small you are.
Bloody hell.
Takes you a short way to walk the distance. If there's anything you want to do before proceeding into the Great Hall, or should you wish to change your mind at this last particular moment, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, we should proceed.
Let us proceed, I guess.
I'm knocking an arrow, just watching our rear.
Yeah, and I want to use observation to keep an eye out on our flanks as well. Just
so likewise,
especially up. See if there's anything looking down.
So up above eventually you do get to a ceiling, but there's all these galleries on the side with sunlight streaming in. Here and there, there's places in the ceiling where the ceiling has broken through, and you can see sky above. All of this was formerly buried. Now the dwarves have dug every last little bucket full of sand out, revealing that this is as it was the main courtyard, and presumably deep in the dunes beyond. There's the vast citadel itself that expands around and surrounds the main halls. To either side, you can see tools of the workmen, benches, buckets, large, effectively mine carts on wheels of bone for trundling rubble and sand out and bringing supplies and tools in. But there's no sign of any other living presences here. Beyond then, the Great Hall itself. This is a very large, tall, thin, weirdly shaped battle map.
We need to do something before we walk in against fear. Let's have a look, yeah? And look at Tin.
You're muted.
I'll say, looking around, because I'm just looking in at the structures, I'll turn and notice Portek looking at me, and he's like, what?
Some spells that help us protect us from fear.
Let me see if my...
I'm immune to such effect.
Let me see if I can... Oh, God, why can't my... I gotta
Once
find
you
the
become
spell.
a lord.
If you remember the name of the spell, that'd be great, but...
Speaking from experience, I know that's true.
Once you become a lord, your ass becomes bigger than your head, and you feel no fear anymore.
There you go.
Exactly.
Portek, if you know the name of the spell, let me know. I'm trying to... I'm looking through everything now.
It'll be the reverse of remove fear, I think, isn't it?
Exactly,
say again, please. Sorry.
It's remove fear, but it's the reverse version.
Yeah. What level is it, remove fear?
That's third, isn't it?
No, it's level 1.
Level 1. Well, hey.
That's why I couldn't
that
find
makes
it.
it a lot easier. Fine.
Yeah, this spell
You've got
casts the
a
spell.
million of those.
Yeah. The priest casting the spell instills courage in the spell recipient, raising the creature's saving throw rolls against magical fear attacks by +4 for 1 turn.
Found it. Yep, I got it. Casting time, duration,
For
one
one
turn.
turn. Okay.
Yes.
That's all right.
I believe I am immune to that.
Let's say, is that going to do any good? Right, if I
As
use
a high
it
level,
right now?
as a high level fighter, you're immune to all forms of fear. Yeah.
So what level is that you are immune to fear?
It's 10th, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, so then I'm
I'm
immune to
assuming
fear
gladiators.
Dark
Gladiators.
conversion? No, not gladiators. No.
it's bravery, Kyle. So unless you
The
swap
bravery.
that out for anything,
Yeah, unless you swap bravery out. Exactly. That's
So,
No.
ticking 10 are the only ones that are...
pussies.
Need an extra
are
save.
the only ones who don't get a +4.
I will turn to Tick Tick. How do you feel, Tick Tick? Do you think you need something or no? I don't know how long it'll help you.
Yes, I believe that it is necessary.
I will
well.
cast one on Matthias and me. Yeah.
And I will cast
So
on...
okay, so 2 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Beyond the hall is Titanic. You arrive in at the bottom of that map that's shown there. So you can drag your counters over. 1 square is 5 foot, so if necessary, I will resize Cream.
And I'm assuming we're coming in through that sunlit area.
Yeah, where the sunlight kind of shows. Yes.
Yeah. And the thing above it is a balcony, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So just put. Yeah. I'll give you a rundown of what's going on there. Yeah, and for Twitch, dwarf, zoom in a bit more when you dragged your guy over. Okay, cool. So what you see then is a hallway expanding out before you. Sunlight streams in both behind you and the far side where the gallery has been likewise excavated and the hall itself dug out from the depths of the dunes. Behind you and above you rises a gallery on an upper level. And staring down at you from those heights are the unmistakable forms of dwarven banshees. Dressed in ancient bone armor, carrying horrifying weapons, their eyes glaring and alive with undead hatred.
Charming.
Out of the far end of the hall, he sits, a mummified figure, a blade resting across his outstretched hands.
We might want to resize it for the viewers.
Yeah, dwarf,
Yeah, I'm working on it.
No, he's on it. An ancient, emaciated dwarven figure, his beard encased in ceremonial gold. The weapon shines, the steel gold mixed with ivory. This all you see. From your position at the entrance. The banshees glare down at you, their undead, sinewy hands tightening around the hafts of their weapons, their armor creaking as they turn to observe you more closely. 1 square's 5 foot, as I said, so over to you if you want to do, say, act, shoot. And 10, yes, you said you had an arrow knocked.
I'm going to do something, but I'm currently looking at my options.
So you hang back then at the doorway.
Observe anything else in the chamber other than those obvious foes?
Make me an observation check. An observation check, please. I'll call the result because I haven't got a roll 20 up screen at the moment. I'm looking at a bunch of other stuff.
Observazione.
I see it. 7. Let's pass. Yeah. So there is a peculiar cold waft that seems to brush by you every now and then. It doesn't seem to be a breeze coming from within or without the chamber. Your long, hard months of experience on the road tell you that there are unseen entities at motion within the hall.
So, upon seeing those banshees, I'll pull what power from Athos I can in this thing, and I will just holding a little bit of the incense from my pouch and my holy water, and I will clasp it against my chest. And I will cast Protection from Evil, 10-foot radius around myself.
Okay. All right. Good. So two squares around 10 then are currently under the effect of his Protection from Radius, which might well hold their touches at bay.
I hug 10.
Vortek, recognizing the spell, nods approvingly and proceeds to do the same.
Okay. Rkard stands.
I look to Vortek.
Vortek goes on one knee and addresses the king. Lord Rkard.
I haven't frozen, by the way.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
He's just like staring at you.
We have come to you in our hour of need. To beseech you to be able to use your sword against the dragon.
Do either of you want to do that thing where you can tell if this thing's telling the truth or not, or are we just gonna believe the grumbling dwarf?
I'll activate it.
Approach.
I stand up and walk towards Rkard. And stay at a respectful distance and go back on one knee.
Okay.
And
Put
I
yourself,
beckon-
put your little man to where you want to be.
suppose I should be here to
Okay.
talk to.
So yes, there's a slight there. As you can see, there's up a couple of steps onto a slightly raised dais where an ancient symbol, perhaps the old symbol of Kemalok, lies engraved into the floor. There is still yet a further tick tick. Okay, tick tick joins you, coming to a halt at the bottom of the dais just behind you, and there are further steps up that lead up to where Rkard still sits way atop his throne. And if you look, you'll see that because he's an ancient undead creature, he's not actually entirely within a square. He sits upon the point where several squares meet. Such is his supernatural power.
We can't do that, can we? No.
No. He's truly a magical creature.
No.
This is the most meta thing I've ever heard.
This guy knows some shit.
The undead dwarven king turns his unliving ageless eyes down towards you.
Do you swear to carry the blade and its burden? Then it might be sent forth from Lost Kemalok.
What does he say?
Well.
No? Lost?
You say against Kemalok?
Lost, then it may be sent forth from Lost Kemalok.
Ah, right. What is its burden, Lord?
I have sworn an oath, but my undeath keeps me here. Fulfill my oath, free me, free my knights. Slay the butcher.
But you slain the butcher.
He strides forward to the very edge of the dais.
Slay the butcher.
Who is the butcher?
Were it dead, would I be here? My undeath is proof the butcher lives.
Okay.
I'm gonna whisper to Tick Tick and Protect It. Is there a second butcher?
No,
Maybe he didn't kill the.
he didn't kill the butcher.
Where is he?
So, or he killed the butcher and the butcher came back.
It got better.
Portek has a brief think on how that works. If the king would be dead by the time the butcher is still dead but gets resurrected afterwards, he doesn't come back as a. He would not come back as a banshee or as an undead, right?
If his oath was to kill him and he killed him and then died, then he's dead. He's not going to come back now.
Even though he gets raised after that, that's bygones, as it were.
He still killed him.
Yeah, exactly. So that means that he didn't kill him.
Yeah, if his oath was to kill the butcher, but he's a banshee now, then the butcher isn't dead.
No.
So who is the butcher?
Many of the champions live still.
Champions? A lot of knowledge was lost between your death and the point that we stand in now. Tell us about the champions, please, Lord.
The generals of the great armies. The butcher of dwarves. The ogre Doom. The slayer of elves. Many fell.
And what were their true names? Portek takes out a piece of paper and starts writing.
Their names were not known, only by their deeds.
Butcher of dwarves. The Doom of the ogres.
Yeah.
What is an
You mentioned Slayer of Elves.
While he's writing down, is the dragon one of the generals?
The what?
Dragon.
What is a dragon?
He doesn't know what the dragon is because he died by that time. The dragon came to be, we already established this, after the fall of Kemalok. But Kemalok, at Kemalok, the butcher was killed, according to our legends. And you did it with the sword.
No. The Scourge slew me.
Maybe that was
The
the story
butcher.
that people told.
The butcher escaped. Alive.
Was the butcher a sorcerer king? Being of magic, immortal.
You won't
The
know
champions had many powers.
You won't know what the Sorcerer Kings are because they came to power after this happened, as far as
Okay,
It could
I
be
will-
the same thing.
I will.
They
Yeah,
could
I
have-
will.
Yeah, they could have transformed after they were these champions.
That's
into
what.
Sorcerer Kings.
And I will say that to Tick is that's what I'm thinking is that
Yes.
if the person's still alive, the only immortal beings we technically know are sorcerer kings. If none of the current sorcerer kings are taking credit for it, what if it's what if it's what the dragon started as? What if it was his larval form?
it sounds to me we need more information. Again, and we know where to find it, most likely.
Well, no, and that is 100% what you are amazing at. But I put 2 and 2 together, and I just give you shit to look for.
No, exactly. No, but this clearly states this is actually very important.
If it was immortal, or it'd have to be to still be alive, then
It would either be undead, it would be a sorcerer king, or it would be the dragon. That's the logical conclusion. Undead, like King of Rkard here.
okay, so the question would be: is somebody taking the sword or not?
But the burden would be that we would have to kill the butcher, and we don't know who the butcher is.
But apparently, you'll have a long time to do it. He's still alive.
Can you not leave Kemalok? Asked
No.
King of Rkard. Why is this? Is this part of the burden?
Yes. No. It is part of my vow.
Ah. To protect Kemalok for always.
Yes.
And the other part of the vow is to kill the butcher, or that's the curse of the sword.
That is my vow.
It sounds like all of these.
The burden I lay upon whomever will take the blade.
So it sounds like his burden is basically the things he's taken as his oaths, vows, and what he will accomplish. By taking the blade, you are alleviating him of that responsibility by taking it on yourself. That is the burden.
Yes.
Guys, I don't think this is a weird question. If we were to leave and try to find this butcher for you, could we come back? Or would there be consequences?
You came to take the blade.
To ask for it.
Do you now tell me you do not wish it? Did you come to just mock Rkard in his imprisonment?
Never.
No.
So
we need to ascertain whether we can actually fulfill your burden. We need to know who this butcher is and where he is. Because
you
at the moment it's unknown.
have done so before you stood before your king.
His eyes flare red briefly. In that moment, I would like a saving throw against fear from everybody who's subject to supernatural fear. At +4 if you have a spell. So I think
I have a spell. That's me.
What am I rolling? I don't.
It's a D20. There's actually a spell section for saving throws on the front page and on the
spell.
page
Okay,
in the bottom right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna change my modifier to 8 real quick, and then I'll just.
I haven't modified this, by the way, but it. So this would actually be a 10.
All look like saves to me. Yeah. The supernatural terror in the Banshee's visage washes briefly over you. You've seen and endured far worse things. You stand your ground. Matthias cleans his fingernails.
You are absolutely right, Lord Rkard. We should have. But as you have found out now, a lot of knowledge was lost, and we didn't know that we would have to. We will, however, because we are here to save Kemalok. And we are here to save Tyr. The dragon that we speak of, which we think is related to the Sorcerer Kings, and now that we hear your story, might be related to the champions, lords over these lands, the tablelands, and takes a levy every year of 1,000 slaves from each of the cities in the tablelands. We are trying to stop this. But we need to know who your butcher is before we can take on this burden. But I promise you this. As soon as we find out who the butcher is, we will come back and we will take on this burden.
You will not. I will not be left here yet again. I am your king.
Then I will take
on ask this. Now one last time.
Then I will take on this burden. And I will not stop until I have slain the butcher.
You feel the vow settle in your heart. Its focus lock itself into your mind. Rkard walks slowly down the steps, across the black marble floor, and comes to stand in front of you. You can feel the coldness rushing slowly off him. He holds out his hands, the blade balanced by its flat.
Go in peace, my king.
Do you take it?
Mm-hmm.
The sword settles into your grasp. Rkard sighs. Turns and walks and sits once more on his throne. Settles back. And the red glimmer in his eyes recedes until it is nothing more than a burning ember. Waiting. Waiting. On the galleries above, the banshees relax their grip on their weapons. The sword trembles in your hand. I've dropped the card in Discord, by the way. Your BAB isn't 12, Lee. It's different since we reworked the fighter class.
Is it? Oh, I've changed shit then. What should it be?
I'll get back to that. Whatever the numbers were at there, they've been adjusted to the correct ones. What do you guys do now?
Thought I fucked up.
Okay. We'll have to come back to that.
Are the banshees just standing there?
Now they seem relaxed. Now Rkard has returned to his throne. In fact, you realize they're looking at Portek.
I will call up to one of them. Why do you stare at him?
But Lord, that sword is incredible.
Yes.
We follow the king.
One of them says.
I stand up with the sword. Lord Rkard, my king. Do you expect something else from us right now? Or should we just leave?
There is no answer but the muted, low embers of the Banshee's eyes. And perhaps that is answer enough.
I bow once and turn around and walk out.
All right. Just a minute, please.
Did that thing say you need a 20 in strength to use it?
Yep.
So you're holding it
Use it single-
two-handed at this point, just
To
trying
use
to...
it,
You
yeah,
can't.
exactly.
It has to be held one-handed. Can only be wielded one-handed. Oh. Yeah. Also has to be two-handed.
Yeah, he can wield it two-handed. Yeah. There is a figure in the outer courtyard,
I wonder who.
cloaked, at this moment at least. As you draw near, the figure raises a hand in greeting. Anybody wish to do anything right away before your paranoia gets the better of you?
No, I don't even know who this person is or what they look like, so...
I'm just getting a picture for you right now.
yeah, unsure.
The figure slowly pulls his hood back, cautiously, not wishing to alarm you.
Oh my god.
Amanu.
But it's alarming enough to
Yes.
realize that it is the Sorcerer King Hamanu. My little dancer. Look where the dance has led you. You realize he's not casting a shadow.
Projecting himself. Mhm.
Who's he talking to when he says dancer?
Portek.
Oh.
That's the
It was a thing they had at the last meeting. Got a bit flirty.
I think this is the butcher.
No, don't think so. Lord Hamanu.
So, you have it. It was here all along.
Yes.
If you would not listen to a Pyrene, you will not listen to me.
Oh. So you were aware of that conversation?
There are
think
not
both the
everything
Py-
they can hide from.
I think both the Pyrene and you should know by now that if you're not forthcoming with your answers, we will keep asking the questions. We need a compelling reason to give up on what we are stepping into, and nobody is willing to give it to us.
Honestly, they'll give us answers, just not honest ones.
Well, they
I
don't
am
know.
not here. I am not here to do any of those things. I am here because I like you, little dancer.
Is he telling the truth?
Absolutely. I am here for your protection. I have no choice now. He must be told.
Go on to Urdraxa it is.
You will not reach Urdraxa. He will send them for you, and they will kill you all.
Who is they?
His Kaisharga. Undead sorcerers.
That does ring an alarm bell before that. That is very disconcerting.
He holds out a hand. Give me the sword. It will save you.
How will it save us? Note that I'm saying us, not me.
I know the value you place in your friends, and I respect it. It did what Stovadarak could not. It will turn his attention to me.
Why does everybody speak in riddles?
I am speaking of the dragon. I must tell him what you are doing. I must. You
Wow.
must be stopped.
Why?
You must be stopped.
Nobody gives reasons.
Idiot insect. There are things that cannot be spoken. This concept seems to elude you. It is not a metaphor. They must not be spoken. But because I like the dwarf, I am giving him a way to survive. It is not very often you meet someone who can dance as well as him. Give me the sword. It is your only chance.
Your burden,
I
your
see.
choice. I wouldn't do it, but
Yeah.
it's your choice.
When will
Rkard has used you for his own ends already.
Yes. The price
Sorry.
to walk out with the sword was that.
The dance has been my pleasure.
If you understand what I have taken on, I will be dancing this dance most likely for a very long time still.
Then perhaps we will meet again in some fashion or other.
Amanu,
I thank you for the warning and for the token of respect you have shown me. I'm grateful for that.
Manu bows, straightens, and disappears.
What a nice guy.
Wow, didn't expect to see him today.
It's the first time I've met him.
So,
Think
well, at
we've
least you
gotten
have
our
the
fair-
banshees. Are these banshees just your servants now? Because if something's coming
No,
for
no, no,
us,
no.
that would probably be helpful to have them watch.
Me getting the sword doesn't make me the king. I just took on the burden of
I asked.
going to slay the butcher.
I asked
It gets
why
their-
they
it
were
gets
looking
their
at you, and
attention.
they said, they mentioned they follow the king. So
Yeah, he's a contender now.
I wish to have more clarity.
in what way, Tick Tick?
In the way that reveals to me why we are being told to give up on this quest before it has started.
And it's being told to us again and again by both our opponents
Our allies and our
and our
opponents.
allies that we should not ask that question. And they will not answer it. They cannot answer it, actually. That's what they're saying. And I have the feeling that they cannot answer it because they're compelled not to answer it. I am not sure what's going on there.
Obviously, now we have found out that Sorcerer King's source of power is the dragon. So we know that. That's got to be fact. That's why they want this stopped.
I do not see the connection.
Where else do they get their power from?
You mean their power to grant spells, or do you mean
Yeah.
their own spells,
Yeah.
or both?
I think that they, the power that the dragon gives them is what allows them to then empower their Templars and
right.
stuff like that.
Right. Yes.
Okay, that's something
I
at least.
understand.
That's what I was talking
So
about.
explain to me why the Pyrene
well.
cares.
Maybe
Well,
she
they
knows this.
She said that taking the sword, entering the tomb, was worse for everyone. For
Because we've
everything.
shown
It's
that the
worse
sword
than
now
it being bad for
exists.
us and everyone else.
Can I get a saving throw against spells from everybody, please?
Spells, you say? Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
Attributes. I'll get +1 on this.
Yeah, I've had that D20 sitting around for a while. I think I'm going to use it finally.
Save.
It looks like passes all around.
Looks like.
And there we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you all detect it. A solid pressure against your minds. The unmistakable sensation of being on the receiving end of a scry. And then it passes.
We need to go now.
Yes.
We need to leave.
Teleport.
Can we?
I can teleport.
To where? Where are you sending us?
I can take
Don't-
one person.
Don't tell us.
I can take one person with me. Should I?
Is this the spell?
Yeah.
You might be able to take the whole group. You've got a giant fucking weight limit. Have a look.
Okay.
Tick-Tick's pretty heavy, though.
The weight limit on teleport is pretty crazy. Have a look.
Oh, okay. I thought it was not that much.
I will
Okay.
tot up who we've got.
I'm
here. We've
carrying
got
4 canks and a couple of herbs.
Constantine.
Your
Constantine,
gold weighs enough.
Yeah.
180. let's say like fucking 40 pounds of gear each. Just to
Carried all my wealth.
So Constantine 220, 3, 7, 50.
Oh, I got a huge amount. Yeah.
70.
Oh,
You're carrying about the party. There's about 900 pounds between the other 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spellcaster is able to teleport a maximum weight of 250 pounds plus an additional 150 pounds for each level of experience above the 10th. Oh no, wait. So that's 300 above. No, I can't.
So what's in total? What's the?
I will grab. I will just to make it easier. I'll just. I'm asking, where are you taking us?
We don't want to say that though, surely. If we've just been scryed upon.
Yes, and failed. And it's after they scryed, so they wouldn't know.
No, it was successful. You just noticed it.
Oh, we noticed it. So, but they don't. If they scry, they don't know what he's about to tell me because he hasn't thought it yet.
Unless they're scrying now.
They're looking now at the moment. You know how scrying works, right?
No, not even a little bit.
No, but you can. You can scry yourself. You know that, right?
I could ask Athos later. How about I just take to the sky and I just fly around for a bit? How long can they scry us?
It's fine. That's a good plan. I'm going to take Tick and Matthias. Yeah.
Going where?
I'm not telling you. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay. So I should just wait here, huh? I'm gonna go somewhere. Okay, you teleport. I'm gonna go fly somewhere, and okay. I will leave. Immediately become a rock, and I'm just taking it.
Okay, nice. Portek, where do you teleport to?
I'm going to teleport to Desrandy's Valley. Why not? That's where we were going next.
Desrandy's Valley.
That is also where I am flying.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Okay.
Where I thought you were going to take this.
Portek, can you make me a D% roll, please?
Yes.
And get the teleport description handy because I'm going to be asking you to check it.
Yeah. D100, right?
Yeah, D100.
1D100. There we go. Boom. That is 12.
Check that against the spell, please. That's quite a low roll.
Okay, teleport. I've studied carefully. Can we say that? Or should we? Yeah? Oh, then it's fine. It's on target. 5 to 98. Okay. Yeah.
5. Good. Okay, right. With a rush then of grey swirling energy around you, Desrandy's Valley becomes visible. A beautiful cleft in the ringing mountains, filled with lush greenery. The rushing waters of the river that rises at the base of the large rock outcrop.
I immediately start casting.
Okay.
Non-detection on the sword, non-detection on us, on each of us.
So non-detection on you first?
Yeah.
Okay. And Dwarf, you're flying as fast as you can
as fast as
reach
possible.
There in rock form?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You know almost immediately that if it's Desrandy's Valley, you're looking at 2 or 3 days' journey as a rock.
I don't think there's any way I can get there faster. So I'll see you in 2 days.
Wait, 50 miles?
Yourself?
Wasn't it 50 miles away?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. So, and then non-detection on the other people and the sword.
Yes.
Actually, non-detection on me, sword,
second round.
Yeah.
Third round. Okay. So everyone throw against spells from the guys in the valley, please.
Everybody?
Yes, please.
Hold on. 1 second.
Natural 1.
Natural 1.
Natural 1.
Another natural 1. Jesus.
I rolled on the money.
Okay. Tick, your antenna quiver. a more potent scrying effect,
Yeah.
honing in upon your location. You almost can feel something actually briefly physically push you. Round 4, Portek.
I relay this to everyone.
Non-detection on. I've done 3 rounds now. Since when?
Yeah.
When are you counting?
Since you arrived, you had 3 rounds. Now,
Yeah.
what's happening in round 4?
So I've captured all of us and the sword, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I do another teleport.
Where to?
I will do a teleport to the underground area in Tyr, in my temple.
In your temple. Okay. Right.
They're homing in on something. I'm not sure what it is. What the fuck is it?
Okay, I've pulled up a new battle map.
Mhm.
Then you might want to size that to your liking.
Already done.
Okay, you will recognize that as the battle map for Desrendi's Valley. 1 square on here is 30 yards. It's a big place. But this is the kind of the stone outcrop where Desrendi made his presence known to you initially. Go ahead and just pop your counters somewhere that you like on the map.
I assume I'm still in flight, correct?
You're still in flight. I'm just talking to Matthias.
I'm going to go to the bathroom then.
No, but they're coming with me, yeah?
You didn't make that clear.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah, of course. I have to get everybody out there because I'm trying to flee the scrying effect.
Okay. Excuse me.
My bad, eh? Sorry. I
Yeah,
thought that was,
I-
that was clear, yeah.
I assumed that we were coming with you. I was a little bit confused by the sudden battle map. I was like,
Yeah, no, okay, all right. Fine. I understand. Let's move to Tyr then. Okay. The area outside Tyr by your academy and underground there.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And dwarf, the Constantine is still flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Silence. You wait. Nothing.
Okay. So haven't found us here yet. I'm going to hide the sword deep underground, guys. What do you think?
I don't know.
They're coming after us now. What?
How long would this spell you put on the sword last?
It's on us and on the sword. So I'm not looking. They're tracking us and the sword.
Yes. How
It will,
long would it last?
maybe a day. Let me check.
Because that is how long it will stop them from finding it. Burying it won't matter.
Keep looking. Yeah. Give me a second.
I find this.
Half a day. A little bit over half a day.
That
And
does
even
not
if the
give us
sword
much
is
time.
underground, they can still find it, can't they?
Yes.
But they won't know where it is. If you do it deep enough underground, it will be underground. They don't know where that is. Right?
I don't know. I'm not the magician here.
How does scrying work?
Well, you get a viewpoint of something. Are you aware immediately of exactly where it is? What location where it is? Mark?
You have to know where the location is in order to scry it.
But you can scry on an item or on a person, and then you don't know where the
Yes.
location is, but it will
Not
zoom.
necessarily. Yes.
Yeah, but if that's underground, who knows
They
where that
just, see
location is?
just see a dark space. Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that
Okay,
at least-
Constantine, can I get a saving throw against spells from you, please?
Yeah, sorry, apologies.
Get a witness. Quick fire break, guys.
Yep, I pass.
Okay, so you feel it, the rush of scrying energy directed directly at you. No non-detection for you, unfortunately. And then it appears, hanging in the air, not far from where you are flying in rock form. This. A humanoid form, clad in tattered finery. Almost immediately, the thing begins drawing on spell energy. You can see swirls of green fire streaking up toward it from the ground far below.
I am going to change my path and try to use mountains, anything nearby as cover to block me from spells, as I'm kind of almost top gunning through canyons if I can.
Okay. There is a rush of psychic energy slams toward you. I want one saving throw against spells, please.
You can't cast spells in that form, can you?
I cannot.
I go away for 5 seconds, and there's a nasty thing.
Yeah. I mean, if they're scrying, they know I don't have the sword. But yeah, no, I think it's I needed a... Yeah, that's to save, it looks like.
That's a fail by 1
No,
point.
no, oh, yeah, no, okay, it's an 8. Yep, so I'm dead. Nice knowing you guys.
The thing simply takes hold of your mind like it's scooping a handful of sand out of a dune. You feel the urge to stop flying. Surrender to it immediately. You feel the urge to descend to the ground. Do so without really knowing why. It just kind of floats down after you, barely motionless, barely moving. Alights on a dune, even as you do. You feel the urge to return to your mortal form. There is a tapping at the side of your head. You're not sure where it's coming from. It literally feels like someone's going... You look, there's no hand there. And then seconds later, a voice is speaking in your mind. Where is the dwarf?
I don't know. They left without me.
Does the dwarf have a location it retreats to when it is in danger?
I don't know. And it is, yeah, if it's using lie
They
detection.
don't know.
If it's lie detection, it's true. He does not pay attention to Portek at all.
Well, Portek has never told anybody about this except himself. He knows this.
No. Contact the dwarf.
How?
He left a message. System. The half-giant. For the half-giant to reach him. Use it. Tell him I will kill you if he does not bring me the sword.
I'm assuming that our way of getting messages is to go to these various places. And
It's to, in the case that he's talking about, it's to go to, I think it was the academy, wasn't it, Carl? And leave a message at the academy?
yeah, if in order to give him a message, I would have to go somewhere.
You have to go to
Where?
jail.
The academy.
The thing walks across the dunes, places its hand upon your shoulder. There is a swirl of teleportation energy. You feel briefly nauseous, and you are standing at the gates of Portek's academy. The thing hisses a couple of words of magic, vanishes from sight at your side, but you feel its presence within your mind. Proceed into the academy, leave a message, ordering the dwarf to come forth with the sword, or I will kill you. I will also kill everyone else within his academy. Do it now.
I will go to whoever our broker is and relay that message and say this message needs to reach Portek.
Okay. Wait. It's a description, not a question, and you find yourself complying. The things hold upon your mind does not release, even for a second. So I suppose the question for you, Carl, is how long do you guys sit in the dark? Matthias and Tik-Tik, you're in some kind of underground cavern.
Where are we?
We're in an underground safe place at night. I will need to get. I will need to get. They're not following us here, so you guys are safe here. But you're only protected for half a day with this spell.
Right.
Thing is, if they're after this sword, why have they not done this for the spear?
They don't know about the spear.
And why have they not done this before this time?
They
Could easily
must
have
know
gone
about
into
the
that
spear.
into that chamber with the undead and taken this thing.
We killed Kemalok with the spear. Everyone knows
Don't
about
forget-
the spear.
They didn't know the sword was there. The only people who put together the fact that this sword was there was you.
But the minute that we held it in our hands, all of a sudden they know where we were.
No.
It
Or
was
were they just
Hamanu
watching
who
us?
was,
They were watching us.
spying on the Pyrene and then following our conversations. Hamanu's been looking in on us.
Hamanu told them. He literally just said, I'm going to tell.
He has to. Yeah, he said.
And he's going to send his guy Sharga after you.
He gave us fair warning.
So he did. And it has. You should consider saving your game here.
Who said that?
It is dangerous moving forward.
Wrong.
That was in chat.
I think
Yeah, fair enough.
truer words have not been spoken, I think.
And I love that. I love that it's Kaishaga plural.
Yeah.
Guy Shargas.
It's like, wait, you have more than one pet lich? What the hell?
What's wrong with you?
Why do you have more than one?
He is a lich.
Oh yeah. Those things are horrible. We're not even at full strength. We don't have Ra and Bengal. Yeah, we've split the party, and now we're faced with this impossible situation where we can either hide forever, or give up the one thing we just spent all this time trying to
this
find.
is the point.
You have gotten yourselves in an awful situation. Non-detection is saving your asses right now. So it's not that you have no way to proceed. Well, for me, one of the things that sets high-level games apart is that they can deal with the impossible.
Hey, Mark, I do have a question. Was I still under the effects of my protection from evil? Because
no.
I was having a thing of like how much time went by, because we were in there, we had a small conversation left, and that's why when I was like, when they teleported away, I took off. That's why I asked how long. I had to ask that now because I wouldn't have failed. That's why I was like, wait a second, I should ask this.
Yeah, no. That's long
Okay.
expired by the time we got out of.
I now have the following problem. I have one teleport spell memorized at the moment. One. So even if I would go to Tin, I would not be able to bring him back anymore.
More importantly, they're not going to stop until they find this sword. Correct?
Not just the sword, us as well. It's not just the sword, it's us as well, because we lead to the sword inevitably.
So we have to kill whatever is following us. That's the only option.
Then they'll just send another.
So we kill that one too.
Or we give the sword.
Yeah, but you just said they're after us too, so it doesn't matter if we give the sword. We're literally backed into a corner. We have no options. This is the only option. We face this thing and we kill it.
Mark, is this thing still in my mind?
Yes.
I'm gonna taunt it. I'll be like, this probably wasn't too good of a plan If you were reading my mind, you would have known that I was a diversion and that the dwarf has no love of me. This was probably not the best plan.
You do not understand what I want.
Obviously them, or the sword, or something on their person. Any of those things I don't bring you. They'd be smarter to run.
You will.
Ask him why he wants a sword.
They will try to save you. It is inevitable.
Well, we'll be waiting here a long time, so...
Has the dwarf replied to one of your messages?
How long does it take for the messages to be...
You've never seen this system work before at all. Portek just made it up as he was leaving.
No, I'm asking... I'm out of character. I'm asking, like, about how long does it take for... if I don't know, I'd be like...
Look, the only way this system works...
That was me out of character. Portek's never done it before.
No, exactly. The thing that was what I thought is, she leaves a message, I give instructions to them, and I know where to scry every time, every day to see whether there's a message there and I need to pick up around. This is what I had in mind.
Okay, I don't know how this works. If I was a betting man, I'd say somebody takes the missive to other places so he can pick up the missive at another place. It takes time to travel. That's why I said we're going to be here a while.
Yeah,
Urgency will compel him.
Urgency can't compel somebody to move faster across the sands of Athos.
The thing is, the fact that it's urgency will compel me not to start looking for Ra at this point in time. Because why would I do that? I have other things to worry about.
There's a screaming noise comes from inside the academy. You hear the sound of breaking glass, people shouting, someone yelling no over and over and over again. The hold on your mind releases itself. People run into the academy. You can hear more shouts, more yells. Someone's calling for help. Someone's calling for a priest.
So I felt it with the presence leave me.
Yeah.
I'll stand up. What's required? What do you need? I'm just shaking.
As you step into the academy courtyard, you see that one of the recruits has been turned to stone. Their body pushed forward and shattered.
We're not hearing any of this.
Yeah.
Because we're too deep down in the ground.
I know. You're not dealing with a rational mortal intelligence here.
No, true.
You're dealing with an angry Kaishaga who doesn't know how to talk to humans.
There's nothing, and I will turn. There's nothing we can do about that.
The presence is gone. Of course, the Kaishaga itself is invisible, so you're talking to empty air. But
no, I'm talking to you. Said somebody rushed in. You heard somebody.
The solution is more torture. I don't.
So I can still hear it?
No, you can't.
Oh, I heard more torture. I was like, what? There's nothing we can do to somebody that's in that state, short of something very powerful, which we can't do right now. Do you have anywhere you go when you need to be safe? Anything of that nature?
What has done this? One of the other recruits asked.
Probably a powerful specter of some kind. Because Tin did not hear anything about what they were or anything about it. He did not pay as much attention as he should have. Which is typical.
A lieutenant from across the courtyard snaps an order, and then another. And through their shock and grief, the recruits' training begins to kick in. And they immediately start putting the academy into lockdown, ushering any visitors and any non-essential staff away, and beginning to prepare themselves for what they suspect might be some kind of assault.
We should probably get out of here, really. What you're about to try to fight, I don't think you can fight.
Okay. We need to get the other people here to safety first. Lock down the academy, and then we move to a safe location. Orders are very clear, sir.
And follow your orders. I'll wait for you to give me an all clear, and we'll move from there.
The recruit nods, turns and runs to carry out his lieutenant's commands. Vortek, how long are you staying down there? You're muted, Carl.
Vortek needs time to think. That's what he
Right,
has.
we're not role-playing that out in live action, though.
No, exactly.
Imagine
but
you're thinking.
But you are putting me in that position.
Oh, yeah.
What is the... you can't make mistakes. I know what I'm going to do. Okay, guys. Matthias. Tick, tick.
Yes.
You'll be protected for half a day. I'm going to send you to the house of Kirodias. I'm teleporting you there with my last teleport spell.
Where are you going to go?
I'm going to try and resolve the situation before it happens.
Before it happens?
Before it happened, yes.
You're going to use... Your what? You're not making any sense.
No. It's better that you don't know as well.
I'm sick of the not knowing.
No, this is for your own good. I would
Why
say.
does everybody keep telling us this? Tick Tick literally
Go.
just looks around for something to break.
Yeah, no, I understand your anger. You don't want to know where I am, so you cannot divulge it. Okay, that makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yes.
We don't need to know where
Okay.
you're going then.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
Try and set this right before this happens.
I get that, but what? You're starting to act like these Pyrenes and stop speaking in riddles and tell us.
No, because if you know, then they will know as well. If they come and catch up with you and ask you. So I cannot tell you. You understand this, right? And I will tell you afterwards. If we get to tell the tale, I will tell you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah?
And I guess we will just stay here.
No, I'm teleporting you to Kirodias.
Oh yes.
And
What's Herodias going to do to protect us?
That's the thing. You at the moment, you're invisible because there's a non-detection spell on you. If anybody in this city can get hold of more non-detection spells, yeah, to put on you and keep you invisible to these guys, yeah, it's Kirodias.
Okay.
Right? So that's what I'm going to do now. And wish me luck.
Good luck.
So
I don't even like Kirodias.
I teleport them to Kirodias.
Okay. I'll allow the roll for that one to go unaddressed. Tick tick, Matthias. With a rush of displaced air, you arrive at House Kirodias. The bustle of servants around is completely mundane. The smell of spices and other goods coming and going. The world just seems, in that moment, unreal, surreal. A pantomime compared to the horrors at work behind the scenes. Constantine, you stand in the rapidly emptying courtyard. The fragments of a dead recruit at your feet. The Kaishaga cannot be far. And in the darkness below the earth, Vortek, I guess you have some manifestor rolls to make?
Yes. A long-held secret finally revealed.
He's time traveling, isn't he?
How far back do you intend to travel? It's not the first time he's done it either.
What else has he done? Come on.
Okay. How far back are you going?
before you pick up the bloody sword.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I need to be very careful. I need to properly think about it.
Well, you've got 40. You've got 48 power points. I see here.
Yeah, and I have the power points in the staff.
Yeah, how much is extra in that? 20? Is it? Do I have a list of that? Does it say it on the sheet?
It says so on the card, so I need to look at the card.
Okay, good. Right, yeah.
Vortex magical items. Staff of
in my country, we are without time travel.
The
Thing
staff
is,
contains
as soon as you said you don't need to know this, I thought this is time travel shit. I bet this is time travel.
36 PSPs.
Do you got 60, 70, 64?
Yeah.
74. You got 74.
Yeah. Let me check.
So you can go back 100 years at most. With a power score of 23.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to go for a couple of days, at most.
So a day or less is 15. More than a day, but less than a week is 30. So should we say 30? Are you thinking?
I'm calculating here. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, right. Sorry.
Because I need to kind of assess the chances of the rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really shit at rolls, so. Yeah, a day or less, but that puts me where at the moment? That puts me arriving at Kemalok, right?
Oh, no, before. I mean,
Yeah.
That would be the day before you arrive at Kemalok. Yeah.
Okay.
Deep in calculation.
Yeah, deep in calculation. Yeah.
You want to do it just after the Mintha thing, didn't you?
Hmm?
You want to do it just after the Mintha's experience.
So, Carl, let's have it. What's it going to be?
Yeah, no, it's going to be before we go to Kemalok. Yeah.
Okay, one day.
Before we have the discussion.
Initial cost 15. Power score to beat is 18. Your roll is D20 plus 2. Your power check, I make it as plus 2.
No, my power check bonus is 4 by my calculation.
Okay.
And that's yeah. And then I can do some other things to make it even higher, which I will do. That's why I got all those non-weapon deficiencies. Loads.
Yes. Power manipulation. Yeah.
Yeah. Power manipulation, and there's also what else did I have? Another one. Meditative focus, power manipulation, crystal focus.
Right. Well, why don't we start off just making a roll?
Yeah, let's do that. Um, 20. There you go. 13.
That's definitely going to be a success.
Yeah, that's going to be a success.
Well, you summon your mastery of the way in that case, this wild talent that you have kept concealed from not just your friends, but therefore also your enemies for a considerable amount of time. The world billows around you. The streams of time open up, and you immerse yourself in fuckery of the worst kind. That's so it goes. Portek vanishes from beneath the earth. And we shall leave it there for another week.